When Chrysler took the wraps off not one but three all-new electric vehicles, the news took the industry and the media by surprise. Quickly followed by another surprise when the company announced one of these vehicles would be heading for U.S. dealerships in 2010 and European markets after that. The Dodge EV, Chrysler EV, and Jeep EV continue to grab attention across the country and the world. They may be the technology of the future, but they don't look much different from their fossil fuel cousins. And that's the whole point.
That says we've done it right. There's no ground clearance compromise, there's no cargo capacity and occupant capacity. I've seen vehicles where the entire trunks are full of hardware, which works, but we said, no, we're not going there. That does increase the degree of difficulty, but that's the task we've taken on, and these vehicles, I think, are proof that we're adhering to that.
It's a whole different story under the hood, Quigley points out, because Chrysler has chosen to put its own stamp on technology options.
Everything ENVE is putting on the road right now has a battery that drives a motor. The motor moves the wheels. The range extender is really a small engine that is able to continue to charge the battery when the battery gets to a certain state, and it means that I don't need as big a battery to go as far down the road as I would if it were all electric. So the advantage of an all electric, like we're showing in our Dodge EV concept, is zero emissions and incredible performance, but it requires a large battery and it requires longer time to charge through the wall. With the range extender, because we know that the 80% of the population in this country does not ever travel more than 40 miles in a given day, we figure we can downsize the battery, let them run all day, typically in electric mode, but give them the flexibility to go 400 miles with only 8 gallons of fuel on board and still have fantastic performance and very low emissions.
All three EVs also sport an industry-first advantage with something called regenerative braking.
Everything we have utilizes regenerative braking, and because it's a variable, we have the ability right now in all of our vehicles to dial that up or down. And in short, it's saying nothing more than whenever I put a battery into a motor, it turns, and when I stop putting energy into that motor and let it still turn, it's now creating energy. So what we're doing is when we're not accelerating, we're using the vehicle's inertia to then put energy back into the battery. And the more energy I allow it to do, the more quote-unquote braking you feel. All the way up to the point where I could literally drive a vehicle with heavy regen and not have to even use the normal brakes.
Making innovative technologies like regenerative braking work at optimum efficiency, Quigley said, means pairing them with the most efficient batteries.
Lithium-ion is one of a whole host of chemistries out there that allow small storage cells to retain energy. And it's all a chemical element of how the inner chemistry creates and stores electricity and does so at a very high density level, the likes of which nothing we've had in batteries, whether it was NiCad or nickel metal or certainly lead acid, they only have a very limited amount of energy storage capability compared to lithium. Lithium-ion is currently the most advantageous chemistry and battery technology that the industry is aware of. And having said that, it's important to note that it's developing incredibly fast. A year ago, there were maybe 2 or 3 chemistries out there in lithium-ion batteries. Today I could count at least a dozen, and that's unique in that a lead-acid battery is a lead-acid battery. I don't care who makes it. Not true with lithium. Every company out there seems to have a different chemistry and a different formulation, and they all have pros and cons. Our challenge is to sort through that and find the one that makes the most sense, that's the safest and that's the most cost-effective.
By the time you're ready to go into production, it might be old news, right?
That's the risk, and it's developing that fast. Tesla's a good example. 4 years ago, they took on the electric car, and they're making a pack that has over 6,000 small cells in it, and today we would never even consider that, and that much has changed in 4 years, and I expect the next 4 will bring that. What we have to do is treat that as a commodity, and the energy is a box, and as it develops, we unplug the box from your current car and we plug in a new one, and we keep moving. And as long as it's advantageous, it's higher energy given the same volume or the same dollar, that's a good thing.
Reporting for the Green Scene, I'm Betty Carrier Newman.